Hello, and welcome to the OutSystems Agile Methodology Primer. To bring the Agile methodology to life, I want to start by telling you a story. Currently, my wife and I live in a small house with our two children. For several years, we've had a dream of moving into a larger home with a yard. Finally, our dreams have come true. This is our dream house. We have decided to build this home because it's within our budget and the timeline we agreed on with a home builder actually meets our time frame. Once the agreement with the home builder was finalized, we actually sold our current home. The buyer of our home offered to let us stay in our house for 6 months while the new home was being built. However, his apartment lease was going to be up at the end of the 6 months, and we had to be out at that time. This meant that our new home had to be completed on time, or else we would be homeless. Let's fast forward 5 months. It was at this time we made our first family visit to our new home. The walls were finished and the flooring was installed. However, we were disappointed due to many unforeseen changes. For many of you who work in software development, these changes are probably similar to the type of things you see. For instance, in a software project, there's an uncertainty of requirements. In our situation with our new home, there was uncertainty as well. For instance, our kids learned that in the new house, they would still have to share a bedroom with bunk beds instead of having their own rooms. Another change you come across in software projects is undervalued sub-processes and integrations. An example of these are in our new home are things like the heating and cooling systems. My wife wasn't happy with what we chose, and we'd made those choices based on cost savings. Also in a software project, you can have unexpected look and feel. In our home project, the flooring really didn't meet our expectations. Finally, many software projects have usability issues. In our case, the entry closet did not have functional access. When opened, it blocked the main entry door. The end result was our project was delayed and over budget. We were forced to move into an apartment until our new home was completed. These challenges are also common for software projects that follow traditional development approaches. In these projects, everything is defined up front. The first system presentation is not scheduled until the test phase, and no user feedback is really incorporated during the project. Fortunately, developing software with an Agile methodology is not like the methods used by traditional home builders. The goal of this presentation is to help you understand how the Agile methodology can lead you to building successful projects that meet customer needs while delivering new applications on time and within budget. Let's look at how we would solve the housing problem using the Agile methodology while learning about the Agile concepts and benefits along the way. First, we would develop a common vision of the needs and size of the project to set deadline and cost. The project really starts with building the foundations and choosing materials. Next, we'll see an iterative building process that regularly integrates user feedback and makes adjustments to meet real needs, respecting the budget and the deadline. We also need to discuss team composition and roles, and finally wrap up what you learned. Let's look into a typical Agile project approach. To set up an Agile project, it's key to agree on 3 things. First, a common vision, which would include the house plan and major needs. Second, the available budget for materials and workers' salaries. And third, the overall time frame for the project. One of the major principles that will lead our project is called the time box principle. Remember, my family will be homeless in 6 months, so this is our deadline. Our time box cannot move. The time box principle is effectively a time frame of our project aligned with the budget and project team size. It is set at the beginning of each project. In respect to the time box principle, it's key to perform regular feature adjustments, sacrificing low priority, low value features for high value needs. It is also important to have a strong understanding of external dependencies and other risks that can impact the project while optimizing all opportunities to drive efficiency. The iterative development process is made up of several small product releases over the project's lifetime, as opposed to one major product release at the end. Each intermediate product release is called a sprint. Modules are made available earlier in the process, allowing users to experience the working application, find problems sooner, and give feedback. The inventory of negotiated requirements is called the project backlog, which is prioritized by business value and rated in terms of estimated development cost. Prioritizing and spreading items among sprints is called sprint planning. When the project starts, a kickoff meeting is held between the development team and the business sponsors to schedule sprints, including demos and feedback sessions, determine risk and dependencies, present the team and the methodology, and really get everyone committed on the project. During this preparation phase, ambiguous definitions are clarified. For example, in our house, it would be things like materials and paint colors, etc. And the project backlog is approved and prioritized, respecting the time box. The first version of the overall sprint planning is then set. The foundations are also built in this phase to support remaining project construction. Taking into account prior feedback, each sprint starts with the backlog settlement. The most valuable items that fit in the sprint are selected first, and the overall project backlog is negotiated respecting the time box. At the end of each sprint, a demo is presented where the user feedback is collected. Users comment on things like ease of use, functionality, the user interface, and other likes and dislikes. Here is an example using our own home building project. After sprint number 3, my wife stated that she would prefer wood instead of cork floor in the children's bedroom. The chief architect told us that if we installed a synthetic pine floor, the project would not be delayed due to the immediate availability of the materials, and the budget would be about the same. So we agreed. Then one of my children complained about not having privacy. So I asked if it was possible to change the inner wall configuration in order to accommodate 2 small bedrooms, with both having common access to the study room, which could be sacrificed for space. To everyone's satisfaction, the chief architect came up with a new strategy. She was going to incorporate the bedroom changes as long as we were willing to leave the study room to be finished in a second phase to avoid compromising current budget and timeline. This seemed quite reasonable to us, given that we needed the house in time while keeping our family budget balanced. After we took possession of the house, we completed a final tuning phase. By performing small fixes and improvements, the tuning phase increased our satisfaction and adoption of the property. Future releases will be run as similar projects, but will typically have fewer sprints. This is where we add known requirements left out of the previous release, as well as performing necessary maintenance and addressing evolutionary needs. And the process begins again. Now, let's take a look at the roles and team compositions for an Agile project. The project team is composed of both customer elements, in this case, my family, and by delivery elements, in this case, the construction company. One person may play several roles depending on project complexity. In my home project, I'm playing both the sponsor and business manager roles. As a sponsor, I must be aware that with the Agile methodology, I may have to approve changes made to the original plan, especially if that brings more business value and better satisfies key users. As a business manager, I must make on-time decisions required by the delivery team and be fully committed to the project. Most backlog settlement will be decided through me, with the engagement manager, who's really the construction architect, by trading off the best use of my budget and keeping my key users happy. I also need a weekly report from the engagement manager to understand the project's progress and upcoming needs. In our home project, the family plays the key user roles. They must be committed to the project and be available to participate in detailed analysis meetings as well as sprint demo and feedback sessions. User adoption is boosted with this type of approach. It increases a sense of collaboration and collective ownership amongst the team, which are key for making Agile projects successful. On the development side, the engagement manager is primarily responsible for driving project requirements and owns the business relationship with the customer. The delivery manager owns the project architecture, manages the project plan, and keeps the developers all aligned. Delivery team alignment is accomplished with a daily Scrum meeting. This is a 15-minute standing meeting to make sure that everyone is aligned with the project and roadblocks are removed. So there you have it, the Agile approach explained. Let's recap what we've learned today. In an Agile project, it's important to stick to the time box principle to avoid budget overruns and timeline delays. The project development follows an iterative cycle that enables iterative sprint releases with demos and user feedback collection. The current valued features are kept in the project backlog as a result of constant backlog settlement and sprint planning processes. A daily Scrum meeting keeps the delivery team aligned and helps remove roadblocks. With the Agile approach, you build solutions that adapt to change and make it easier to build the house aligned with your family needs by interacting and collecting their feedback and thus increasing the solution value and family adoption. You also don't have to define everything up front because the Agile methodology lets you deal with open requirements and uncertainty while efficiently planning, building, and controlling project duration and budget. Thank you.